There is a persistent idea that one day a quantum computer will sit on your desk and run your laptop's operating system. In reality, these machines are built for a completely different purpose. The milestones reached in late 2025 suggest the focus is shifting away from generalized computing and toward highly specialized data center accelerators. In October 2025, Google's Quantum Echoes algorithm successfully executed a molecular chemistry simulation 13,000 times faster than the world's most powerful classical supercomputer. Simultaneously, Quantum Motion delivered the industry's first full-stack silicon-based quantum computer to the UK's National Quantum Computing Centre. This wasn't a prototype chip, but a complete system integrated into standard server infrastructure. These breakthroughs mark the end of the purely theoretical lab phase. As we move into the era of verifiable advantage, the central question is no longer if quantum works, but which hardware architecture can scale fast enough for global industry. Superconducting technology is the current industry incumbent. Google recently demonstrated their 105-qubit Willow chip, which achieved below-threshold error correction, a state where adding more physical qubits actually makes the logical system more stable. This hardware precision enabled the Quantum Echoes algorithm. It sends a quantum pulse forward through the qubits, perturbs a single node, and then reverses the process to listen for an echo. This uses constructive interference to amplify specific molecular data that classical machines struggle to see. IBM remains the other major power in this space. While they previously led with the 1,121-qubit Condor chip, their strategy has shifted away from maximizing raw qubit counts alone. Their new Nighthawk architecture uses a 120-qubit square lattice design. It is built specifically for error mitigation, allowing the processor to run deep circuits of up to 5,000 consecutive gates. Superconducting systems hold the lead in precision today, but they face a physical bottleneck. To function, they require dense networks of cryogenic wiring that become increasingly difficult to manage as the system grows. To bypass the wiring limits of superconducting chips, companies like Atom Computing and QEra are utilizing neutral atoms. These systems use highly precise lasers that act as optical tweezers. These beams suspend and control individual atoms in a vacuum, which allows for flexible, reconfigurable qubit arrays. This approach allows for massive hardware density. Atom Computing has already demonstrated control over 1,200 neutral atom qubits, moving past the raw physical scale of even the largest superconducting machines. Because these systems can pack a high number of qubits into a small space, with very efficient error encoding ratios, neutral atoms have become a primary contender for the first generation of large-scale logical computers. Superconducting qubits require custom-built dilution refrigerators that look like massive metallic chandeliers. Quantum Motion is shrinking that footprint to fit industrial standards. Their full-stack quantum computer, including all the cooling and control electronics, fits entirely inside 3 standard 19-inch data center server racks. The technology relies on printing electron spin qubits directly onto standard 300mm silicon CMOS wafers. This allows quantum processors to be manufactured in the same high-volume foundries that produce chips for smartphones and laptops, leveraging trillions in existing infrastructure. Silicon spin qubits are currently in the early research phase, with arrays of 6 to 12 qubits. However, because they are built like classical chips, they have the highest theoretical potential for reaching systems with millions of qubits economically. By weighing current gate fidelities against long-term scaling plans, we can forecast which architecture is likely to reach a stable, error-corrected state first. Superconducting systems hold the top spot because they have already demonstrated below-threshold error behavior. Neutral atoms are a close second, as their high connectivity allows them to create stable logical qubits with far fewer physical atoms than their competitors. Silicon spin ranks third. While its qubit counts are currently low, its manufacturing advantage makes it the favorite for a second wave of massive deployment. Microsoft's topological architecture remains the wildcard, as it is still working to prove its basic stability. This race isn't about one type of hardware winning and the others disappearing. In a commercial environment, these different systems will likely coexist. The future data center will operate as a tri-pillar system, where classical and quantum hardware work together to solve different parts of a single problem. The standard CPU manages deterministic logic. The GPU or NPU handles AI and matrix math, And the QPU, or quantum processing unit, tackles workloads involving superposition, such as molecular simulation and advanced cryptography. Quantum architectures will act as specialized accelerators for humanity's most complex physical problems, working alongside the classical systems we use today. Knowing the trade-offs between precision and manufacturability, would you bet on the lead of superconducting chips or the long-term scale of silicon? Let me know in the comments.